What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to it. It is Behind the Mic right here on the Best Live TV. I go by the name of DJ Sabby, the best in ever. I'm excited about this moment because we finally got to episode number 7. And for me, it just makes sense that we keep it 100 and we get into a conversation that is very, very important on radio. And top of the hour on the radio, it's just as important as an ad. Because that is the moment where we get an update on what's happening in and across the world. No matter the station, it could be a hit music station, it could be a music station, it could be a PBS station, it could be whatever kind of radio station. Top of the hour belongs to the news. And for me, a man who I've known this dude 2010. I was in the academy at YFM. And he was just this ball of fun, but he was a journalist, so it was always like weird because when the night came out, we lived our best lives, but he just knew his current affairs, and his opinions have always been something that we always looked forward to hear them. But at that time, we had no idea that he was going to get to be the man that he is right now, because when you say Aldrin Sampear, that name carries so much weight. Ladies and gentlemen, Aldrin is in the building. What up, bro?
Yo, what up?
You good?
No, I'm good, man.
Thank you for coming, Machi. Yabona ngisengalana neclass endala mfana. Le class lena eshaya ngama
Mara le yabogogo le.
Yeah. Because when you say something nabogogo ba mamela. Mina khuluma nengane zabogogo mfana. You know, Aldrin, I don't know where to start because when one goes through your profile, there's literally no radio station you haven't worked for. But before we get there, who is Aldrin Sampear?
Okay. Who am I? So I am a senior reporter. I still feel that I'm a reporter.
Yeah.
Although I am a host of a talk radio show right now on Power 987 called Power Talk. I love politics. I am a... Some people think I'm Zulu. No, I'm not Zulu. Oh, no, you actually remember that you were the one who started...
I generally thought you were Zulu.
No, you started with the guy with the spear.
Oh, yeah, Elvis Sampear, the guy. But you don't want to know how I got to the guy with the spear. You know, because Sampear for me sounded like with a spear, you know. The guy with the spear, you know?
Yeah. Ngachela band.
That's why I had excuse.
Sure. So some people think that I'm Zulu because I think that's the first indigenous language that I've learned. Well, apart from being born as a colored person and speaking Afrikaans at home. So learning Zulu and speaking Zulu. And people were like, this is a Zulu guy. And I was saying yesterday on Twitter, actually, someone asked me that, actually, Ndota, what language do you speak? Because he was confused. I'm like, no, actually, I speak isiZulu. But because my Zulu is not proper, I sometimes mix it up with other languages, like especially the Nguni languages, like you'll throw in a bit of Xhosa here and there. So that really gets people a bit confused.
Yeah.
But I was saying that in school, in grade 10 or grade 9, grade 10, my Zulu teacher used to say to me, "Oh, Nkosi yami, awubheka umlungu wami, awubadla." Mina bengumlungu wakhe.
Yeah.
Because I remember this one day in class where I struggled with understanding incha, nenja. For me, it sounded the same. It's the same thing. Yeah. So I was born in the Free State in Welkom, Bronville. And then my mom waqala ukujola ngapha eGoli ke wabamba la eGoli, and then I moved up at a year later after she moved up, and lived in Soweto in Orlando East for a couple of years, and then we moved to Katlehong. And I still say that I am a boy from the East Rand. I'm a boy from Ekurhuleni because I think that's where I started connecting with self and understanding self and identifying self in amongst the people around me. So I identify as umuntu wase-Ekurhuleni, because I was there. It was still it was still called the East Rand, and then the name changed. The municipality's name changed and became a metro, and then it became Ekurhuleni. So I was there and I witnessed all of that. And we lived Etsi, which is an informal settlement in Katlehong, far down. Maybe it's going to be A7. So when I did my grade 11, grade 12, moved back to Soweto because I just felt that so I felt like, okay, I need to go somewhere where I can feel like a little vibe, feel encouraged. And here's the thing, though. I want to encourage everyone. When you feel that you're in a place that stifles you, that doesn't allow you to grow, that doesn't allow you to be yourself, move. There must be a family member that's willing to accept you, that's willing to embrace you and give you that space to be yourself. I remember Orlando East, for instance, when we moved back, when I moved back to Orlando East. Used to go to school, grade 11, grade 12, no food in the morning, so that means no breakfast in the morning. That means no meal at school, apart from uktenga maskopas. So I always made sure that I had 50 cents, uktenga maskopas, and then you come back home, and still there's nothing to eat. But one thing that I have to give my aunt and my grandma is thank you for making sure that when I went to sleep, that there was something to eat. Yeah. And in that space of being in an impoverished situation and trying to be confident, because one thing that I do have is that I believe that I'm intelligent. I believe that I'm intelligent. I remember in grade 12, for instance, and this was while living in Orlando East, where I was struggling, where I didn't have enough to eat. I was ranked the second best performing student in the school. Wow. And I didn't have everything else that other people have. I just had that 50 cents ugenzu shoguting tenga maskopas. Yeah.
You know, as you tell that story, now it starts to make sense why you moved the way you move with radio stations. You know what I mean? Because you're with Y, and I think probably Y is the longest station you've been there with. But before Y, which station were you a part of? At what point did you realize that I want to explore radio? You know, as someone who's intelligent and you're ranked as the second smartest kid in school, people start having aspirations for you. I was about Dogotela. You can be a lawyer. These are all the things that you could become. At what point did you deviate, from all the other aspirations people had for you to get into this media?
I wanted to be a lawyer, man. I wanted to be a lawyer. I was good in accounting. I wanted to be an accountant at some point. I took accounting higher grade, for instance, and I nailed it. But then I got a bursary to go to a university and study law. But because I didn't have the information prior that what you actually should do is that you should actually go and apply at a university a year before, even 2 years before, I couldn't find a school. I couldn't find a place, an institution that's willing to take me because they were all full. And I forfeited the bursary.
Jeez.
So then I went to go look for a job. Actually, it's such a strange thing though. DJ Fresh on YFM there was a campaign that they had on the Fresh Breakfast Show on Y, that those who want to study journalism apply and you could win a bursary. It was Rosebank College. And I tried to apply. I then, on the last day, tried to make my way to Rosebank at the Zone. And then I said, because bekhona umama odumile nje.
Ngiyambona lo mama
I
lo.
just forgot her name.
Because she also in Hyde Park bekakhona and I think she retired.
Yes. Khona umama bekadumile, and we were told ukuthi you need to take your application and she will then take your application in. But then when I got there, she then told me to go to the office. Remember that the studio was at the zone, and the office was on the other side. So then I quickly ran to the other side, and the receptionist said to me, "I'll put you. We're late." And I think I was late by 10 minutes or so. I'm like, please. I'm like, no. We're late, Baba. You haven't made it. Sorry. And then I met this guy who was there, and he brought a demo to I, and I then went back home. When I went, actually, before I went back home, when I met this guy, we then walked around the zone in the mall looking for jobs. And then got a job. Well, we were told that there are vacancies at Clicks Pharmacy. And then we went for the interviews the day after. And this guy actually slept at a police station. Jeez. Hey, guys, it's rough, eh? It is rough in SA. I then used the money that my aunt gave me to go and pay for a telecom line, the telecom line that she had. And I used that money as taxi fare to make sure that I'm there for the interview. I didn't tell her, and she was pissed. She was pissed. And when I got there at Clicks, I got the job. And I was a cashier. But something... I just felt that this is not for me. Yeah. This is not for me. But I was there in that moment. And then Clicks and we had a fallout with management at Clicks. Eventually I left Clicks. And then I think a year later, when I moved back to Ziet, I told a friend of mine that, fuck man, I really love radio. I want to be in radio. And then he told me about his classmate who's actually reading news at Kasi FM in Katlehong. And for me, the biggest thing was that here's someone who lives at an informal settlement where I live at, who works at the radio station. Then, damn it, surely then I can do it as well. Yeah. And that was it. I was encouraged at that point. But then I looked for work again. I got a job in Sandton. I worked at Altec Autopage. But that thing was still there. Yeah. Then eventually I called the Kasi FM and like, yo, listen guys, I want to do this. I want to read news. And then they said, send through your demo. They even gave me a contact number of a studio where I can go and record my demo at. Recorded the demo and I was hired on the spot. Wow. I was hired on the spot. I then told my boss that, hey, listen. I'm out. I told you, right, that I want to be a journalist. So, yeah, I got a gig. I'm leaving. And he said to me, you know what? Yes, you did tell me that. And all the best. But I'm sad to see you leave. And that's where the journey in broadcasting and journalism all started.
Do you still remember that first day?
Yeah. Hey. Hey, big new guys.
What happened?
Yo. Because now I'm nervous, right? And I recorded this demo, and the demo sounds damn good. But remember, with the demo, there are many takes. Yeah. But with radio, it's live.
It's all now.
It's all now. Yeah. Hey, ndoda, ngithe mangifunda leyo bulletin le I'm sorry. Rather.
And it's like, rather is like that word that journalists will use as a crunch word.
Yeah. Like, rather. Yeah. 6 people were killed in a car accident towards the M1, rather, the N3. But the voice was there. Yeah. The enunciations were there. The emphasis was there. The phrasing was good and so forth. But, hey, I fluffed the whole way through that bulletin. But I said, I'm going to finish this bulletin. And yes, I did.
And the crazy thing about Indaba is that 3, 4, 5 minutes, depending on how long the bulletin is, there's no music, there's nothing. It's just you, the story, and sound if you're fortunate.
Yeah.
So writing the bulletin, like, where did you learn that? Was it a school thing? Was it colleagues at Glassy FM? How did you go about learning how to put this bulletin
How to put a bulletin together? So I had the talent in terms of vocals and sounding good on air and so forth, but the writing was a bit of a problem. But I believe that going to YFM changed everything for me, because at Glassy FM and Jozi FM as well, we used to take stuff of News 24, 702, and so forth. So what you'd get is that you'd get the article that you get online is concise and straight to the point. So it's not like your normal newspaper article, you know. So it's concise, straight to the point, and the only thing that you need to do is to take out the quotes. Yeah. But then I went to IFM, and I remember Samantha. Oh, Sam, guys.
I remember.
Yo,
yeah. Now she owns take something.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sam
Right.
Sam and her carrots.
Yeah, I know Sam. Yeah.
Sam and her horses and carrots. Sam would constantly reject my stories because of the way I've written them, and she like, this is plagiarism, you cannot do this, and what. And I was saying yesterday on the show that what people don't realize with South Africa is that anyone can become a journalist without the qualification. So I was lucky that I became a journalist without the qualification, moving all the way up to 702, Jacaranda FM, Power FM at a later stage, without the actual qualification. All you needed to have was the talent, the ability to tell good stories, as well as the ability to write. And I believe that Sam, wherever you are, hello, well done. She has done an incredible job in emphasizing that write your own story, even if you get the story on SAPA. So SAPA is the wires that we use, where they provide us with all the news, especially for small newsrooms that can't send out 10 journalists and 10 reporters out at the same time. So we sometimes rely on SAPA, which doesn't exist anymore. It's defunct. We now have ANA. But you take stories of SAPA and ANA, and Sam used to emphasize you must rewrite the story. Yeah.
And getting to a point where you can start creating a sense of opinion. I know that during a bulletin, you can't have an opinion. You know what I mean? But when you write the story, you write it from, in a sense of answering the 5 W's and an H, but you're also trying to get a point across. You know what I mean? How would you say you then figured out the tone and way how to write without coming across as if you're trying to get your own personal agenda across, but just to tell the story?
YFM was probably just telling the story. I personally believe that journalists can't just tell the story. I made a point the other day, and I said that there's something about objectivity that we are told that journalists must be objective. It is really difficult to be objective when we come from different spaces, different backgrounds, because it is our backgrounds that inform our perception and our understanding of the world. And when that influence your perception and understanding of the world, that would obviously influence how you tell the story and how you relate the story. The emphasis rather should be on relaying the facts. What are the facts? And these are the facts. Take one example, for instance. Let's Mudimule. Let's say there's a stream that runs through Mudimule.
That's in Limpopo, by the way.
Yes, that is, yeah. So you have a white reporter and a black reporter, and you take both of them to go and report on a story of a woman who goes every day to this river, Emudimule, and she carries the bucket on her head, and this is the only source of water that she has. Do you think that a black journalist and a white journalist will tell the story in the same way? No. And sometimes I feel that there's so much pressure that's being put on reporters to be objective, when actually even judges, you can't say that a judge is objective when a judge can make a statement that says, for instance, this is the most heinous crime we've ever witnessed. That can't be objective, right? That means that this is this person's perception of the world that is being brought through. But the judge then makes his decision on a judgment based on the laws of the country and the facts that are put in front of him. And from all of those things that are put in front of the judge, him or her, then comes to a conclusion that this person is guilty. But then also emphasize what this person has done based on their personal beliefs. And I remember Chief Justice Mogoeng speaking about how we cannot run away from our past. This is now judges cannot run away from our past. And if you say that, if a judge in a judgment relating to race, for instance, does not make reference to our past, that means that this person is so detached from our lived realities. But if a judge says that it was rough during those days, it was difficult for black people, colonialism, this is what colonialism has done to black people, this is how black people have suffered, and so forth, and bring all of those things to the fore without even the plaintiff or the accused bringing those matters before the court, but the judge is aware of our past, then that must certainly mean that we can't expect even of reporters not to be in touch with our lived realities.
It does make sense, as you say, because living in this era, there's, as you just said, everyone feels like they can become a journalist. And also, journalists are very tainted. We're having that conversation prior to the interview, where even listeners and people that are critical thinkers, people that are fully aware and have a solid opinion on world matters and politics, seem to feel like the people they're watching or hearing on TV are just feeding them gooped up, paid for content, or all these other people that have money. When you were coming up, who were those people that were key instrumental as mentors, as people that were guiding you to find your true Aldrin Sampear that is here now? Since you said you never had that formal education as you were rising all the way up, but who was guiding you throughout that process? Sam did her job in writing, but who else was also guiding you through this process?
Did I challenge self? I think that is it. I challenged myself every day, and I asked myself, how do I make sure that my product is better than it was the day before? And this means reading up on other people's stuff. And in the age of social media and the age of internet, it means that you can actually Google videos and so forth and follow through on those things. Somebody who has played a pivotal role, I believe, in my understanding of news and how to cover news, Denzel Taylor, first of all, who I met when I went to Jacaranda FM. He was my editor at Jacaranda FM. I still believe that he was one of the best bosses I've ever had. And then at a later stage, Ben, I just forgot, shucks, I just forgot his surname now. But Ben was the editor at Power. So when I when I went to Power was when Power was about to launch. So we were part of the first people to be at Power, start up the whole thing, and all this noise around what the news should sound like, all the debates around what the news should sound like, and what is news. And I remember Ben saying to me, "Why does this matter?" I don't know. I just thought that it's a good story. No. It's not a good story. But you must make me understand why it matters so that the listener would understand why it matters. And that for me was my first challenge, to come up with own stories. With your own stories, look what's happening around you and then say that, maybe this could be a story. Maybe I can pitch the story. So definitely Ben, and then Sophie Mokoena. So Sophie Mokoena is hilarious. Journalists know. Even politicians know. Sophie Mokoena was... because in politics, Sophie is just amazing when it comes to politics and an understanding of politics, and how senior politicians feel like this is someone that I can speak to, this is someone that I can confide in. And I remember when I was at Jacaranda FM and I told one of my colleagues, I think it was Karen Labuskachny, I said, "Karen, look at that woman." It was the ANC's NGC at Gallagher State. And look at that woman. Look at that woman. And she comes back like, "Oh my God, I've just heard this." And I'm like, I want to have those type of insights. And look at imisebenzi kaJehova. I ended up working at the SABC, and she was my boss. And I've learned so much from that woman. And her... she's been through a lot. She's been through a lot, and she continues to soldier on. And I look at that, and I'm like, yeah. This woman, I want that level of strength to keep on soldiering on when even everybody is against you. And I'm saying this, that she's not perfect. Not at all. Sophie and I have had our own clashes and run-ins, but she's always been true. She's always been genuine.
I'm dating a journalist, you start knowing about these terms. Your beat. Like my girl is about women, she's about children. That's her beat. You know what I mean? And you start finding yourself being fully aware on women abuse and children abuse, because that's the kind of content that's around you at home. With you, what's your beat?
My beat is politics. I love politics. I've always loved politics. And I remember even Uzugile used to give me like books about politicians, about I remember reading about O.R. Tambo, you read about Chris Hani and so forth. So I've always had this love for politics. So that's my beat. I think my new beat.
Okay.
My new beat is human beings.
Okay, tell us more.
My new beat is human beings, because what we've done is... So when you come to the newsroom during a diary meeting, there is... I think when you come with a stat, the stat weighs more. Like, for instance, when you say 57 people are killed every day, that resonates more in the newsroom. But what we don't understand is that it doesn't resonate with our listeners. DJ Sabby, 57 people were killed today. Is that a conversation that you are willing to have when you get to work, when you get home, when you're at a family dinner or braai, a family function or so forth? I doubt that. I doubt that you'd want to share the stat.
But
what you want to share is, Ntabi Singh's killing was so brutal. because you bring it home.
Mm.
You bring it back to the individual. And the reason that issues trend is because of the individual. Uinene, the reason that femicide is such a big issue right now during this space is because of Uinen. The reason that that femicide trended even last year was because of Abokarabo. You understand? And that is probably a debate for another day, that how we allow moments to consume us so much that we don't realize that actually these moments happen every single day. Yeah.
It's got to take one story to connect with the person who then shares a story with the next person. It becomes, you know what I mean, a trend.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely, yeah.
Now, moving from being this anchor who is consistently delivering news to now being this opinionated person, because now your opinion matters. You know, you start having an opinion that has tongues wagging, maybe positively or feeling some type of way. And I've always believed, like, radio has to create a reaction.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have everyone loving you. You gotta sometimes blow up some air in people's skirts and have them say, what's going on over here? When did you start realize that maybe it's time for me to do my own thing? Because returning to power was just that move where you've been there before, but now you're about to host your own show.
Yeah. I think there was a point where, I can't remember which story it was that I covered. And what I really hated was how politicians continuously came back. But it was a protest. Probably, what's this place called again? Ngase Lands, Tembelil. Yeah, Tembelil Informal Settlement. So there are always protests in Tembelil. And always politicians would respond. And always there would be promises. And always our people would accept those promises and believe that the politicians would deliver. And every time they do not deliver. So they are being told the same thing over and over again, and they latch onto the hope that things would change. And for me, that really irked me. And I think that's where things really changed for me, and the way I understand news and how I consume news. And when power came along, it was an eye-opener that really got me thinking really hard about the world around me. And I remember telling the chairperson, Given Mkari, that I have an opinion about everything. I have an opinion about everything. Because after all, I am a South African. Like any other individual, I have an opinion on everything. And sometimes I may want to refine my opinion, and sometimes you may want to persuade me otherwise, but there is an opinion. And sometimes I may not feel comfortable sharing that opinion because I fear that my opinion may offend you. And what power has done for me is, first of all, here is a black talk radio station. And the example that I always make is, you have Dr. Thandi, may her soul rest in peace. You have Dr. Thandi who calls into the show on a certain topic, let's say Abo Mama Be Manyano, for instance. Abo Mama Be Manyano, those are Abo Koko Be Sambato Be Methodist. Bafagi, what do you call it again? Isambato. So you have Dr. Thandi who calls in and speaks on Abo Mama Be Manyano. Then you have Mam Hilda, who is in Soweto, who calls in and also speaks about Abo Mama Be Manyano. And I'm like, damn it, that is it. That is it. We found a platform where black people can all come together, have a conversation, a critical conversation about the state of the country, no matter from which place you come from. And you feel comfortable, even to use your own voice, your own language, and don't feel that you are being undermined because you can't speak English properly. And that for me, like, I love this place. I love this place. this is the place that I can share my opinion on. Yeah.
You know, from the outside, it's always seemed like you're never like, I'm not gonna say loyal to any station. You always want to learn.
Yes.
Fulfill that. When you feel like you've learned what you had to learn in this place, you move. That's what it's always looked like. And someone would be like, well, what about value? You know what I mean? What if Aldrin left? Why? Because the next station had offered him a better, deal. What usually comes first for you? I know when you told us the background earlier on, Mr. Chiruti, you've always felt like there's always someone who can take care of you based on your upbringing. But when it comes to moving from station to station, you know what I mean? What do you normally look at? Because there's people who are working for stations, in all honesty, they're not happy. You know what I mean? They feel like they need to be paid well. They feel like they're too loyal. I think it's every
working environment. Yeah.
You know, what do you normally look at?
I love the money.
And we'll talk about it.
Yes.
Because I still feel from the outside, it looks like you paid well.
I love the money. Listen, Buffett, remember earlier when I told you about Uguti being 50 cent, Uguti Tenga Mascopas. Yeah. So now, if I can go for the thousands and the thousands, why should I?
Why
not? Exactly.
Because you guys have made journalism cool, bro. You know, good morning, Ethiopia. I'm a journalist. Holiday in Argentina. Drinking champopo is lit. You know?
So, yeah, man. So, of course, there's the money issue that I think is very critical for me.
Yeah.
Around whether I leave or not. But then the second determination for me is, what is it that I could learn from this place?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is the what you could learn that helps grow you and that helps you and that propels you into a space where people actually recognize you. Guys, loyalty is great. But be loyal to yourself.
Oof. Pause.
Loyalty is great, guys. But if you're not loyal to yourself, because when you're not loyal to yourself, you will help build other people's dreams and not your own dream. And sometimes some people's dreams are about just being behind the mic. It's okay. If that's your dream, it's okay. Let that be your dream. But if your dream is way bigger than that, then pursue that dream and don't let anything stop you. But on top of that, though, be a hard worker. Work your ass off every single day. And when you work your ass off every single day, I remember one company that wanted me. And like, we've got our only issue is that you change places a lot. And my argument was, the reason that you have that is because I work hard a lot. And that's why people want me a lot. And that's why when the people give me what I want and I see myself in that place, I will move. Be loyal to yourself. End of story. Be loyal to yourself. Love the company that you work at. If you do love the company that you work at, work your ass off at the company that you work at. Do all of those things that are expected of you and sometimes go beyond what's expected of you. But at the end of the day, when you go home, we won. You're no longer at that company. When you sleep and you wake up in the morning, do you look forward to going back to work? And if you don't look forward to going back to work, then you're in the wrong place.
When people offer you jobs, there's so, in the programming sector, as DJs, guys will tell you on final day, bankai blank check, but see, write your number. They don't tell you if it's a lot or it's not. Or they put you in a situation where, like, bring your pay slip from the other station, and then we'll tell you if we can take it to the top. How do you calculate how much Aldrin is worth? You know what I mean? Because I'm not saying like you worth as in mabakbaya, mara. At that moment, you're like, as in, I'm not taking less than 50. You know, example. Yeah, I mean, 50 is my rate. It's either you match up or you leave. What do you normally look at? Because there's journalists out there that are generally struggling.
Yeah. I've got a formula. Unfortunately, I won't share that formula. But know what you want. And sometimes it doesn't mean researching what the industry offers. Know what you want and what would make you comfortable. And when you are comfortable, also be sharp. Because at the end of the day, it's about you. If you're going to go, for instance, I want an extra 50%, because that's what the industry is paying. And then the company says, well, the amount of work that you put into the company is only 10%. Would you be able to argue why you deserve the 50%? And hence I say, work your ass off, guys. You must be desirable. Like 6-7 months in guys, this is not for me. And in that space, you are killing it. Every day you're breaking news stories, you're bringing exclusive stories. You are just killing it because that's the person that you are. And when you are that person, you can demand more and say that, for instance, when you go into, let's say, a salary increase negotiation, or what do they call these things again?
Those increment what?
Yes, those things. And then you say, I want 50% more. And then they say, no, we can't afford 50% more because 1, 2, 3, and we don't think that you deserve 50% more because of 1, 2, 3. Then you need to ask yourself, and then ask them as well, that what's the value of my contribution to the company? If you feel that the value of my contribution to the company is way less than what I'm demanding, then we have a problem. But this must always be based on knowing how much work you put in. Guys, if you are a hard worker, if you stay up... I remember doing Oscar Pistorius, for instance. So I would go to the Oscar Pistorius trial. I would be there from around about 6 a.m. in the morning until 4 when the court adjourns, and then after that you still have crossings into the evening bulletins. Sabby, I would go home and I would watch that trial again. Watch the footage again. So by the time that I wake up in the morning and I have my crossing to Pratim on Power, I have much more information and much a different analysis to what I saw during the trial, because now I had the advantage of watching it twice.
But I think that Oscar trial really gave you the next leg room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mamela,
that guy
Banks Sky News, Baba. Yo, guys. Sky News, I went to London. By the way, I've never been to London. Yeah, I've never met
guy during that trial, dog.
Sky News are like, yeah, Mamela, we want to speak to you. What do you think? And
But charge that for that thing.
No, I didn't. Well, no, I didn't. I'm like, oh, guys, I'm going to be on Sky News. so I was
big.
So I was on Sky News, guys, and got messages on Facebook, Twitter, and like, people like, hi, I'm from London. I'm watching from Gupi Gupi. I'm watching. Like, yes. And I felt flipping good.
Yeah.
I felt good. And at that time, I couldn't afford full bouquet. So remember that Sky News on full bouquet, yeah? So I couldn't afford full bouquet. But I was there.
And these are the stories we don't know.
Yeah, no, I was there. I was there on Sky News, guys. I enjoyed that. I think I only did like 2 crossings with them. But for me, that was like, wow, guys, I've made it. And now recently, actually, CNN called CNN, like, for the elections, like, hey, listen, can you, like, yes, of course, why not? I'm available. Let's do this. Yes.
They must pay.
Mamela. Ezinye izinto azidinga umrholo. Ezinye izinto, guys, you don't. I just believe that there are some things that you need to ask yourself, Uti, is there more value in the exposure than value in the payment? So if I had said to CNN, for instance, that pay me, and they say I know sharp $6, I would have lost an opportunity and a moment of being on CNN. And those things are rare, guys. I couldn't let that go. Like,
but I think that's something that this generation doesn't understand. Because on my come up, I've always believed that not every opportunity comes with a price tag. You know, there's some opportunities you're like, bro, some people in their home countries would die just to appear on CNN to have an opinion. You know what I mean?
So when I left Alto Kotu page, I think I was earning about 2,000 or 3,000, and then when I got the gig at Jacaranda FM, they said they're only going to give me a stipend of 1,000. Spoke to my mom about it, and my mom said, "Hey, het jy katty? Hey, het jy hondie? Jy het nie 'n kindie. As jy dit wil doen it."
Which means awunanja, awunakati, awunangane, so inkinga yakho yini, do it.
Do it. And that's exactly what I did. And here I am today. So sometimes it's about taking those sacrifices. I always make an example about when you want to overtake someone and ubona ukuthi lo muntu lo akafuna ukukunikeza space. Shaya ibreak kancane. Umvumela ukuthi andlule. And take over at a later stage. You'll get your turn.
That is so true. When you reflect and you look at your journey, what would you say has been the best journey, the best decision you made along your journey?
Every decision that I've made, I'm deciding that I'm going to move from this place to the next place. Because if it wasn't for those moments, I don't think that I would be where I'm at now. If I didn't leave the SABC, for instance, well, actually, you can go way back, guys. You can go way back to Jacaranda FM. If I didn't leave Jacaranda FM, I wouldn't have been on Jozi FM. If I wasn't on Jozi FM, YFM wouldn't have heard me, and they wouldn't have called me. If I wasn't at YFM, 702 wouldn't have known about me. If I wasn't at 702, Jacaranda FM wouldn't have known about me. If I wasn't at Jacaranda FM, Power FM wouldn't have known about me. If I wasn't at Power FM, the SABC wouldn't have known about me. If I wasn't at the SABC, ENCA wouldn't have known about me. And if I wasn't at ENCA, Power wouldn't have considered me, I think, to be a talk show host. To say that this guy is now on the next level. We believe that this guy has what it takes to host a primetime talk show. Guys, I'm only 31 years old. And I have, huge, guys, I have my own talk show, prime time. And for me, that is a big deal.
At 31.
Guys, Buffett.
And you're black.
That's another debate, guys. You know, the whole black color thing for me. But we'll get there. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's a journey, because it's about identity and where you find yourself and how you identify with being a South African and being part of a community that fights to be recognized. Because I think for me that is the struggle currently for the colored community is recognize me. And then on top of that is that we can't deny that colored people enjoyed some level of privilege during apartheid. And for me, it becomes very difficult to say that colored men and Zulu, Sotho, Xhosa, whatever, that those people are at an equal footing. It can't be. Informal settlements. Are informal settlements made up of just colored people? No. In the majority, they're black. And sometimes I feel, and I know that a lot of people have, it's realizing that there's a level of privilege that colored people enjoyed, Indian people enjoyed during apartheid. And for me, based on that, it then becomes really difficult to equate myself and my experience to the experience of the ordinary black guy, the Zulu, the Sotho, the Xhosa, the Venda, because I've got some privileges that I enjoyed as a colored guy or living even in a colored community, and even dealing with your own biases, ukuthi actually si equal, si wena, nami, si afana, but our benefits and what we've benefited from apartheid is way different to your experience of apartheid. Because at some stage there was a point where, and maybe it's still the case, especially in Cape Town, where colored people feel that they are way superior than black people. And those are the debates that we should actually be having as a country. But then there is this thing that, hey, song nje siyafana.
And your biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges in terms of?
Throughout your whole journey, to the person that you are right now.
My biggest challenge is, YFM. Hey guys, so at Y, here's a boy who's coming from Jose FM at the time. Poor background. Zonke lezinto lezo. Comes from an informal settlement. And then mom is unemployed. Dad usebenza mafemi so hola about 500 a week. So nje ngiyasihluphekela. And then you get to Y, and then your colleagues speak about dads being a CEO, the dad being a lecturer, the mom being a lecturer, and I felt that I fell short of being that because of my background. And for the first time, I lied about my background at YFM. I said that, and I remember when my mom died, I was still at Y in 2010. And colleagues were like, so, nizoyenza kanjani ngendlu? And I'm like, damn it. Shit.
Why did I put myself in that situation?
Actually, there is no house. But I didn't tell them that because I didn't want to be that guy. Like, hey, slow. Because we frown on poverty. We frown on poor people. We like, there is us and there's them.
There's them. You don't want to be part of them.
Yeah, and you don't want to be part of them. And when you come from them, and you've made it to the decision-making table, you don't notice them. You don't even recognize them.
And them are calling you by your first
name.
No. The name that nobody else knows about.
Le kama lakho le scope di bolo. Scope di bolo boy. Black man party lele.
And they call you loud like, oh, that's Zima, scope the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we always try to and it's almost like a trap that you want to live up to expectations of the good, And the good is being defined as opulence.
Yes,
So if you don't have opulence, then I got
you've reached that point where the president knows you. That's another level.
Yeah.
Where when they talk about plans and trying to get a message across, you know, and I'm gonna say this in the music perspective, where we have to do interviews there, then we would have got the message across. And you've reached that point where anyone of high power, to make sure that the message is heard, Aldrin is part of the map. You know, there's journalists who, like when you spoke about that lady and you used to see her do a thing and get that insight.
I'm so
You know,
yeah.
how do you start? You know, who do you go to? How do you even enter?
Angiyongitshela.
Eh?
Angiyongitshela amasosizi la.
No, but how do you?
Amasosizi
You
la.
know, do you send emails to the spokespeople?
Ama-emails kanjani manje? Can't have a paper trail.
But how do you get in?
You get in by virtue of the work that you do,
For real.
and people notice the work that you do.
That's true.
And when you get to places, people are like, hey, Usban, you know, hey, Manuela, what's your name? Because people struggle with my name,
Yeah.
like Aldrin, Adrian, Aren, you know, Sampear. So you get to that level where people actually trust you because
Yeah.
of the amount of work that you've put into what you portray and what you put out to the people to take in. So it is all the hard work, guys. I don't know how to emphasize this even more, that hard work, Buffett. Hard work and confidence, by the way. Hard work and confidence will get you far.
People that are talented, there are people out there that are talented, but they don't have the confidence to stand up to people that are trying to pull them down. What do you tell those journalists? You know, you see them, they're amazing on camera, but when they step out of the camera, ubona nje nalaga nemoto mhlawumbe kuhamba ngayo ukuthi no lo bayam overwork, but they're not compensating them right. But they don't have the confidence to stand up because they're scared they might lose a job.
My man, when you work hard, Buffett, they want you
Everywhere.
more than you need them, actually. They like, we need this person here. We cannot lose this person. You should be worried when you want to leave a company and there is no counter offer, there is no trying to convince you not to leave. Then you should be worried. Maybe young reporter, journalist, if you're out there, try, give it a test. I'm leaving, and then see what they say. And if they're like, okay, all the best, then you must be worried. Then you must know that you are failing.
Yeah.
You are failing. Because the other thing about the media space is because there's a lot of emphasis on talent. And then there is the hard work, because the hard work harnesses the talent and then you evolve. So if when you don't put in the hard work, you don't harness the talent, and you are just that, you are the DJ Sabby that we knew back in the days who was doing traffic. If you don't grow from that, nobody wants to touch you, because you will always just remain that nobody sees anything better that can come off that. But what you should also be cognizant of is that there are other people around you sometimes who don't want to see you succeed. It is what it is. It is what it is. But when let your work speak for yourself, guys. And that's what I love about especially broadcast, is that mamela bangakuzonda the way bafuna ngakhona, but when the camera's on, when the mic is on, that is your moment. Uthi mamela manje ngiyayibamba lento lena. Especially now with live television, news channels. and you're like, now I am going to give you guys the Aldrin Sampear show. And it's just a crossing. I was telling some reporter about this, a junior reporter, like, when they say we can see you, can you hear us? Then you say, yes, I can hear you. When the anchor starts reading your intro, remember that they're now crossing to your show. And handle that thing like, this is my show. I am going to kill it. When you walk around and you're like, look behind me. Yeah? Look behind me. Look at the horizon. And what, Ube, like, this is me. This is me. And I'm giving you news in a way that you've never seen before. And then you say, back to you in studio.
That's some guy volcano.
Yo,
yeah.
Hey,
I remember.
but no. Actually, on another point that I wanted to raise, yes,
That's more airtime.
yeah, that's and when you get that, kill it even more. Kill it even more.
I always like asking people this question before I let you go. It's 2 questions actually. The first question is, who would you like to say I'm sorry to?
Yeah, no, that one would need I'd probably have to reach out to that person first. Yeah.
So there is a person you like to say.
I fucked up and like, I fucked up big time. I fucked up big time. And in hindsight, like, shit, how did I become that guy? At which point did I become that guy? Yeah, I'd before I even say sorry.
So would you say, like, being a journalist and getting to this point cost you people that you loved? And that's why you feel like this person, you need to attend to these emotions and attend to these feelings.
This is even not this isn't even work related.
Oh, okay.
It's not even work related, but it is someone that I have in high regard. Like, no, I fucked up, guys. No, one day I'll write a book. One day I'll write a book, and let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Yeah,
Cool.
It's a bit rough.
The last one. Who would you like to say thank you to? Thank you.
I want to say thank you to baby Sampear. Guys, my mom was an amazing woman. She flippin' raised a boy who became confident, because at some point, because what poverty does to you, poverty ribs you of dignity and self-worth, that you always feel that you're beneath everyone else around you. And she used to say to me, you are not your background. You are born into this. You are not your background. And that is the same woman who said to me, "Ye het nie 'n hondie, het jy 'n kattie, het jy 'n kindie." And it was listening to her that I've ended up here. And sometimes I really think about what you said about the president. Like, the president knows me by name. The president sees me and he greets me. CEOs see me and they greet me. And le auti le babulisayo. Ye auti begeze endishini. Ye auti be yokha amanzi emfuleni. Ye auti be basumlilo. Ye auti be kaka emgodini. Yeah.
And now you.
And that is because of that woman. And I was telling my team a power, in hindsight, I really appreciate that my mom decided to move out of Blondville and go to Soweto, because otherwise I wouldn't have had the experiences that I'm able to relate now. And those are the things that have shaped me and turned me into the man that I am today.
It's so crazy when it's the first time we've actually had a conversation, like this, because now I'm thinking of the Trevor Noah book, and after hearing your story, you'll relate so much. It's like it's.
Hey, pushing a boy, man. Hey,
yeah, no, too.
Yo,
No, too.
I know. I Trevor, guys.
No,
Trevor's
too.
killing it.
You're also killing it. You're also killing it, and this is one of those episodes where I feel like it's about our career.
Yeah.
It's about this medium, but at the same time there were those emotionally moving moments.
Humanity, guys, because we are all humans.
True.
We are all humans.
True.
The guy who set up the lights, the person who made sure ukuthi i-toilet liyasebenza, the person who asked for a 2 rand, mo pagi moto, uthi poza unkayipondo da, poza lami. You may be irritated and you may get angry and feel like, what the fuck? It's okay to feel that way. But in that moment, realize that this is a human being.
That's true.
That is a human being, guys. Like, ukshona got Dr. Thandi Ndlovu. I kept on arguing on the show and emphasizing this on the show that I hate how CEOs are not part of the discourse that we're having in the country and conversations that we're having in the country. You hardly hear a CEO calling into a talk radio station and probably a music radio station as well to say that, oh my God, that's my favorite song. Damn it, it's your favorite song. Why don't you call in? That's the song that you listen to when you go take a shower. Then why don't you call in and say that this is my favorite song? We need to get to a point where we humanize titles.
That's true.
Humanize the title. Humanize the office. That the office of the CEO is occupied by a human being. Yeah. Even the office of the president is occupied by a human being.
Yeah. Hi guys, thank you very much for watching. One thing I think you need to think about, maybe you can revisit this episode, is understand that you're enough. You're enough. You decided to watch this episode to learn. I hope you did learn. To the future broadcasters, this is timeless content. Revisit it to when you feel like you are the shit. Because this fame thing, trust me, man, like it's great, but you need to make wise decisions, or else you're gonna regret all the stupid decisions that you made. But yeah, man, thank you very much, Aldrin.
Sabonga, thank you for having
so
me,
much,
man.
my ninja. You know what I mean?
And I respect you, DJ Sabby, and the ones and twos. Well, there's an accident on the N1.
That's how it started. And now, Aldrin literally and them have shaped and changed the way journalists look, man. Like, we used to say journalists are scruffy and coming through and ngolile hair. Now they suave, man.
I reject that with the contempt that it deserves.
Shout out one time, man. I appreciate you coming through.
Sharp,
You could be anywhere. You could be watching news. Yeah, bro. Thank you for coming and just chatting to us. We appreciate this.
Again, we are all human beings, guys. Whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you're black, whether you're white, we are all human beings. There's one thing that makes us one, and that is you are all human beings. And we love to be loved, and we love to be affirmed. So every now and then, tell your wife, tell your husband, tell your girlfriend, tell your boyfriend, tell your sister, tell your mother, and say, you're doing so well. And this for me was that moment. Those are great moments. And let's give that to everyone. Let's give that to everyone. And acknowledging that you are a human being and I see you. Yeah.
Acknowledge me. Subscribe. Goodbye. Subscribe.